Namaste. Good day to all my students. In this lecture, I will explain about Big Data Analytics Tools and Technology, Module 4. This is a common mistake for individuals new to the world of data management to use the term Big Data and Hadoop interchangeably. That means most of the people will say Hadoop as well as big data are same. Actually, it is wrong. Why it is wrong? It is saying here Hadoop is at the core of many today's big data implementations. That means very simple here. Big data having so many tools or so many softwares. One of the very important software which is there in the big data, it is Hadoop. That is the meaning. One of the very important. That only it is explaining here. Big data analytics tools can consist of many different software pieces. One of the pieces Hadoop. One by one, we are going to discuss which are the software pieces are there. This everything will be there in this particular topic only. I will explain one by one. That together, what are the facility each software will do? That it will collect the data, it will store the data, and it can manipulate the data as well as it can analyze the data. That is a major property of this all the softwares. Next is velocity. Velocity means how fast the data is coming from the IoT device to the storage. That is the meaning. Velocity refers to how quickly data is being collected and analyzed. How fastly we can collect the data. Collect the data means that's why I told how fastly the data can come from the IoT device and how to analyze the data very fastly. Hadoop distributed file system is designed to inject and process data very quickly. Inject means to get outside the data, that is inject, and process it very fastly. Smart objects are generate machine and sensor data at very fast rate. Smart with the help of smart object, very simply IoT network, only smart objects are there. It can generate the data, and we have sensors also it is using there in IoT network or smart objects. Very fastly the data is going to come, and that particular data is going to store it, and we can analyze that particular data. Now variety. Already you know that varieties of data can be produced by the IoT network. One is structured, next is semi-structured, and another one is unstructured. In the previous lecture also I explained clearly what is structured, what is unstructured, and examples of semi-structures also I explained. What is structured data? RDMS, Relational Database Management System. That is RDMS, which is structured form of data. What is meant by unstructured form of data? Video, audio, image, text, or Word document. These all are unstructured form of data. What is semi-structured form of data? That is XML, Extensible Markup Language, JSON, JavaScript, object notation. These all are explanation we have in the upcoming slides. But just I given the introduction about what are the things can come under structure, semi-structure, and unstructured. Different database technology may only be capable of accepting one of these types, because we have different types of database. You think about Oracle, it can only handle RDMS data, that is Relational Database Management System, right? That is a major problem. Each database can handle only one form of data. But you see the Hadoop, that is a property of Hadoop, which is there in the big data. Hadoop is able to collect and store all three. These all three forms of data can be stored and can be collected and can be analyzed with the help of Hadoop. This can be a beneficial when combined machine data from IoT device that is very structural in nature with the data from other sources such as social media, multimedia, that is unstructured. That means social media data may be structured can come, unstructured can come. That one we can handle both separately here if you having a Hadoop. And volume, there is no doubt. How much data is going to produce? Scale of data. The data which is going to produce it in gigabytes sometimes in petabytes. Gigabytes means 10 power 9, petabytes means 10 power 50, sometimes exabytes. it is 10 power 18. Generally, big data implementators scale beyond what is a single node. That means it is not going to store every data in a single node, in a single computer. Node I can say as a computer, but it is going to store as a cluster of computers or cluster of servers. So many servers, or a dozen of servers, sometimes hundreds of servers, sometimes thousands of nodes. Nodes means server or a machine. Because we cannot able to store every data, because bulk amount of data is going to generate, and that same data we are going to be replicated means we are going to store in same data in different machines. One of the machine it is lost, we can get it from other machine. That is called as distributed computing also, or distributed storage. We are going to discuss again, that one also is there in the upcoming slides. The characteristics of big data can be defined by source and the type of data. Definitely, which type of data first we have to identify, and which source, from which device or from where it is coming. That source also we should know. Mission data, which is generated by IoT device and is typically unstructured. Most of the time, IoT device data, which is coming from the missions, mostly it will be unstructured. Already we said 80% of the data is unstructured and 10% of the data only is structured. And transactional data, you can think about the banking data, that is high volume as well as structured data. Social data sources, maybe the social network. In this particular example, social network, already you know that video, audio and all is there, but we are not considering that one. We are only considering the structured data in the social data sources, social network. Right, enterprise data, business related data. There also we are thinking about the structured data more, right? Hence, big data consists of data from all these separate sources. These all the separate sources. What are the sources we discuss? Social, enterprise, transactional data. Every sources what it is coming, big data can able to handle it. Data collection and analysis are not new concept. Definitely, it is not a new concept. It is not for the IoT. In the internet also we are doing that one. Industrial verticals have long depended on the ability to get, collect and record data from various processes in order to record the trends and track performance and quickly. That means industries already it is doing to improve their business. They are storing their data as well as they are doing the analytics, and they are doing or they are tracking which are the new products we can make to get more business. For example, many industrial automation and control systems feed data in two distinct database types. One is relational and one is historians. We are discussing about the industry. We are not discussing about the industry which is working on IoT. The normal industry, or we can say that industrial automation, industry is automated. There also, what is the situation, current situation? There most of the time they are using relational plus historians. What is relational? Already you know Microsoft, SQL, Oracle, which is storing based upon row and column way. And what is this historians? Historians are, that is, it is explaining, it will take less disk space to store the data, but it is faster compared with the relational database. Right? I hope it's clear. Historians, relational database and historians are mature technology that have been with us for many years. Because already we told in the IoT also came into the picture, these historians as well as relational database, we cannot able to store all forms of data, and we cannot able to store and process all forms of data. That we are going to discuss now. Mature technology, it is a mature technology. Many years we are using that one. But we want new technologies and technique in data management market have opened up with new possibility for sensors and mission data, because due to the IoT, so many sensors it is there, so many missions is going to come. For that one, this technology, what already it is there, relational as well as historian, is not enough. That's why we have to go with new technologies. This database technology broadly fit into a new category that each have strengths and potential drawbacks when used in IoT context. And these two methods, having so many strengths, we can use it, but so many disadvantages. That's why we are thinking about other techniques. Three most popular three categories are: one is massive parallel processing system for IoT only, one of the method to store and analysis. Next is no SQL, it is not only SQL full form, and Hadoop. Hadoop only we are previously discussing, and detailed discussion is there on the upcoming slides. First one, massive parallel processing database. It is again a relational database only. Do not confuse. It is a not a relational. It is relational only, but it having more advantages than other relational databases like Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, and so on. Relational databases are often grouped into a broad data sources category called as data warehouses. Relational database will come under a broad category we will call as data warehouses. An example of this would be asking for all items produced in past year that has a particular specification. Depending upon the number of items in the database and complexity of the question asked, response can be slow to return. It's nothing but one company is producing the item, it is storing that details of the item for past years, so many years. And if we are passing a query to get the data from that particular database, maybe it is slow to return the value, that is the drawback. But if you are using massively parallel processing database, where built on concept of relational data warehousing only, but are designed to be a much faster compared with other relational database to be efficient, support reduced query time. Once the query is given, immediately the result is going to get from the MPP, massively parallel processing. To accomplish this, massive parallel processing database take advantage of multiple nodes, because it is not going to store the data in a single node. Already I told it is distributed in nature storage, so that it can be processed it very fastly. MPP, multiple parallel processing, massively parallel processing, are sometimes referred to as an analytic database because they are designed to allow for fast query processing, often have built-in analytic function. It having some built-in analytics function also. We do not want to write some analytics because it is built-in already. That company is developed and given some analytics also for us, and it will able to store also. That also property is given for massively parallel processing. As the name implies, this database type process massive data set. Massive means large data set in parallel. It's not in sequential, parallel way. Two computers can be executed simultaneously different data and get the result. We have the diagram. I will explain the diagram. Here master node is there. For example, a request is coming to for storage as well as analysis. Request first, it will come to the master node. There are different devices are there to store the data, and each device having its own CPU, each device having its own RAM and database. Node 1 means one system, node 2 means second, node 3 is third, and node n means n. Master node will decide where it have to store the data out of these three, because it is etc. It is showing more will come, but I am considering these three. And every request will come to the master node for storing the data, for analyzing the data, retrieving the data. Just to think that this master host or master node is not working, then the entire communication is going to get problem. That is why a standby master node also it will be there to help. If this master node is overloaded or the master node is not working, this standby master will act as a master. I hope it's clear. Next, here one word or one phrase they are using, shared nothing. we will call it as MPP is shared nothing, because each node having its own CPU, its own memory, its own database. That is why it can be worked independently without the help of any other device. That's why it is called as shared nothing, right? Next is no SQL database. It is not only SQL. That is the second one, which is helpful faster processing of IoT data. It's a class of database that supports semi-structured and unstructured. It won't support the structured form of data. That is the next property. Semi-structured and unstructured, the main thing for not only SQL. In addition to the structured data handling by data warehouses, other relational databases are there for structure, like Oracle and all. And MPP, massively parallel processing database, what we discussed previously. It will also handle only relational, right? NoSQL is not a specific database technology, but rather it is an umbrella term that encompasses several different type of database. Include the following. That means it is not a simple one. It having lot of other things inside that one. Which one? NoSQL. And again, separation is there because it is not for structural data. It is for handling semi-structured and unstructured data. First is document store. This type of database stores semi-structured data. It will come under NoSQL only. And NoSQL, one of the things, if you are opening NoSQL, so many things it is going to give. One of the things which is supporting for semi-structured data, already I explained, the example is XML and JSON. To store the semi-structural data and have to process the semi-structural data, it is document store. It is under, or it will come under NoSQL. Document store generally having query engines. Query engines are there because query is asking, it have to execute and get the result. And indexing features also it is there in the document store, right? Indexing means to retrieve it very fastly. We want indexing features. Now next is key value pair. Using the key value pair to store the data. This type of database store associated array where the key is paired with associated value. Each value having a key. Based upon the key, the data is going to store, and retrieving also based upon the key only. This database are easily to build and easily to scale. Scale means add more data. Next is wide column stores. Now two we discussed, which is under NoSQL. Now the third one, wide column store. This type of database stored similar to key value pair. It is also storing like key value pair only. But formatting of value can be varied from row to row, because row wise we are storing the data, row and column wise. Here this row I want to update it, have to use one form of formatting method. Next row I should use some other form of formatting method. That is the difference between wide column store and key value store. Next is graph stores. This type of database is organized based upon the relationship between the elements. Graph stores are commonly used for social media, Twitter, Facebook, WhatsApp. These all the things only, social media only. Normally we can go with the better one is graph stores or natural language processing. Natural language processing is what I am explaining. A system can understand, or system can understand the meaning of that one. That is called as natural language processing. NoSQL can develop to support high quality, definitely urgent data requirement of modern web application that typically do not require much repeated use. High volume of high velocity of data, high speed data is coming, it can able to handle. Urgent data requirement for modern web applications also we can use to store this technology, NoSQL. The original intent was to quickly inject rapidly changing server logs and clickstream data. Clickstream data is a user is using some website, how much time he is using, what are the pages he is visiting, all the details it is going to store. It may be stored in the server only. All right. That all the information want to store better, we can go with NoSQL category. The NoSQL category, key value stores and document stores tends to be a best fit for what is considered for IoT data. Key value store also, in the case of 3 or 4 we discussed here. Here, key value pair and document stores are the best one in the case of NoSQL, other than graph stores and wide column stores. Right? That only it is explaining here for the IoT data. And today RDM is having MySQL, Oracle already we discussed. It will this RDMS will store a single type of data, but here in the case of key value or NoSQL is not a monolithic system, because it is not store a single form of data, it can store a multiple form of data. Indexing it is used and high rate is there, it is faster, simple. This makes it a great choice of time series data set which record a value at the given interval at time, such as temperature and pressure reading from the sensors and all. We can collect and connect and we can use it, this one, and analyzing it will be easy in the case of NoSQL, right? NoSQL plus its divisions, what are the things are there, have to be explained. Next is Hadoop. Hadoop is the most recent entrant into the data management market. The most popular choice is data repository and processing engine. The most important thing is Hadoop is two things. Data repository is a storage, how it is storing, as well as the processing of data. While a query is given, how to execute that query, that processing engine, a program that is called as processing engine. Hadoop was originally developed by Google and Yahoo. First, original intent for Hadoop was to index millions of websites, because in the case of Google, you know, if you are searching something, it will show the lot of websites, not even say that, maybe it's going to show them thousands of websites which is related to which term you type, because there the very important thing is indexing is required for millions of websites. Then only this once you are given some data and if you are clicking, it will show all the details. That's why indexing is very important. For that one, better one is Hadoop. Initially, the project have two key elements. One is Hadoop distributed file system and MapReduce. Hadoop distributed file system is for storage and MapReduce is for the execution of the queries. It is a processing engine. You can see here, first a request will come here. Based upon that one, it is going to store in these places. There are two terms we have. One is called as name node and one is called as data node. Diagram is there. One more diagram is there. I will explain everything here. Firstly, one by one, I will go here. This MapReduce and HDFS is going to work together, and then only we are going to get the result. And name node, what is the property of name node? I will explain. I'm not going to read everything. Name node names, for example, I want to store the data. Some data I want to store. First, I will request to the name node. I want to store. Now, name node will decide where I have to store the data. That means name node won't store the data. It will find it out some data node. Data node means data node. Data can be stored. That is the name of data node. It will find it out some data node and it is going to store the data. And in the name node, what it will do is it will write the location where that particular data it is stored. It is going to write in the name node. Why it is writing? If somebody else is asking, or I am only asking after some time, I want that data, means name node first will see where the data it is stored, in which data node it is stored. Maybe thousands of data node will be there. Which data node it is stored, and it will find it out the data node, and it is going to get the data from that particular data node. That is a property of the name node. And do not think that one data node, the data it is going to store. It is going to store in multiple data nodes. All the data node where the data is there, it is going to write it. That is replication. Data node also I explained here. You see here, HDFS client, that is the people who are using HDFS. 3 people are there. That's why we are separated with a different color, red, green, and yellow. It is going to write some data. Namespace, block management. Name node only, block is going to manage each block. Because these are the data nodes, these 3 data nodes. See here, in this one, sorry, it is not data node, it's the rack. Rack 1, rack 2, rack 3. Data node 1, data node 2, data node 3. Each rack having some data nodes. I told data is going to store in the data node. See here, first 3 data. One is stored in data node 1 in first rack. The same data is stored in rack 2, data node 1, and here also. Data node 1 here as well as data node 2. Same data it is storing in rack 3, data node 2. That means the multiple data nodes, the same data it is storing in different racks. See here 1, data node 3 in rack 1. Rack 2, data node 2. Very simple here. Same data it is replicated and name node can decide which data node in which rack can be stored. I hope it's clear. Next is Yarn. Yarn is a software which is there in the big data only. Introduced with the version 2.0 of Hadoop. Hadoop, and another thing is in the big data Hadoop is there. In the Hadoop, Yarn is there. Which version of Hadoop? Not 1.0. It's next version. 2.0. This Yarn is there. What is the full form of Yarn? Yet another resource negotiator. Was designed to enhance the functionality of MapReduce. With the initial release, MapReduce was responsible for batch data processing. Batch means all the data or all the requests it is taken first, then it is processing one by one. One by one request it won't process. Batch means as a batch it is going to process. MapReduce initial release only, and job tracking, which job is executing, it is going to check, and resource management, because for executing the job resources, it can be hardware resources like memory, have a processor have to be provided. That one, everything it is going to do by MapReduce. That means this all the most of the work is going to give to the MapReduce. Actually, MapReduce have to execute and batch data processing, job tracking, everything it is going to the headache of one person. Then what Yarn is done is they took some of the responsibility. Yarn software. What it is done? Over the resource negotiation is one of the property which is added in Yarn. It is not there in MapReduce. Then job tracking, allowing MapReduce to job and task tracking. That means job and task tracking as well as resource negotiation. That every property it is going to taken by Yarn, and they given and they said to MapReduce that you only have to concentrate more on data processing. Do not want to take care other things. Other thing I am going to take care. That is the Yarn said. Next is Hadoop ecosystem. Hadoop plays an increasingly big role in collecting the data, storing the data, and processing of IoT data due to high scalable and ability to work with large volume of data. Its ability have to be, Hadoop means it can store the data, it can collect the data, it can process large amount of data. Many organizations are now using Hadoop cluster for storing of data as well as processing of data. And more than Hadoop, we can add complementary software packages. That is very important here, because if you can see here, Hadoop, so many complementary software packages is going to evolve within 3 months or 4 months. That one we can new complementary software package came, we can add it into the Hadoop. That is one of the major advantage of the Hadoop here. Since initial release of Hadoop is on 2011, and incremental functionality to Hadoop. Incremental functionality means we adding more and more functionality. With the help of complementary software packages, we can add it there. That is the meaning here. Now you see here, Hadoop now comprises more than 100 software projects. in Hadoop itself, more than 100. Which one is convenient for you to do your work? You can use that one. That's it, right? And it is very robust application, and it is distributed way. Already you know the data are not stored in a single node, name node, data node, so many data node racks, like that. Already I explained that one. Based upon that one only it is storing. That is why it is distributed in nature, and same data it is storing in more than one place, right? Okay. Here, collecting the data, storing the data, processing the data, analysis of the data. It can be collect the data from the IoT devices, and it can store the data, and it can process the data. After that processing, it can analyze the data, and it can visualize. It can be represented the data. That means after getting the analysis the data, we can show the data in a graph way. So that 2001, how many, in the case of a company, if you are showing 2001, how many product was sold, we can show using a bar graph. In 2012, how many it is sold. It can be then compared with the previous bar graph, it can be less or more, so that the people can understand clearly. For visualization also, Hadoop is giving so many software to represent that one. That's it. Next one is Apache Kafka. It is what is the use of this? Is one of the software only. This real-time events, real-time processing the data, it is can be used, such as those commonly generated by smart object. It's nothing but Internet of Things. Smart object generated data in the real-time way, it can be processed. In having them injected into a processing engine, the main of the thing of the Kafka is it will take the data from the IoT network, and it is going to inject. Inject means it is going to push that particular data to some processing engine. That processing engine can be processed, right? Actually, this Kafka is working in the distributed nature, and you can, I will explain this diagram so that you will understand clearly here. This is Kafka. Here, producer can be any IoT network. Any IoT network is a producer, and they are given the data. Data is given with the topics. What is the meaning of the data? Each data having some topic. Is a pressure related data or temperature related data or something like that. And it is going to give to the broker. Broker is a program which is there in the Kafka cluster with the Kafka. And that particular broker data, it is going to collect and it is going to store in Kafka node. It is in the Kafka only. Producer will generate the data. It is coming to Kafka, and it is going to taken care by the message broker. So many messenger brokers are there, and while taking the message broker, it is going to store it here also. After that, it can give that data to the consumer. What is the consumer? These topics are, say, I already told. Some topics, for example, it is pressure related data from one IoT network. One consumer is saying that I want that particular topic of data. He can consume the data from the Kafka cluster. After that, that particular data with the help of broker, it is going to inject to the consumer. And consumer should use some of the software like Spark streaming, live streaming of data can be processed. Storm can be used. These are different softwares, or they can use directly Hadoop only. So that this data can be processed here with the help of this particular packages, right? This is called it as Kafka. The duty of the Kafka is taken the data and given to the consumer, and here it can be processed. That related things only it is explaining here. It is a message-based system, Kafka, and it is going to inject the data to Spark streaming or Storm. Already I shown in the diagram. It is working based upon publisher subscriber, and it is working based upon messaging system. Messaging system means publisher means this is a publisher, it is a producer, it is a publisher, and the data is moving as message, and it is taken care by the message broker. That is why it is explaining like that. And it is distributed in nature. Data also you can store. Same data may be stored in different places, and this data giving everything, it is going to taken care by the Kafka cluster. Next one is Apache Spark. Already it is given here, Spark streaming. That only we are explaining. Later we will explain the Storm also, right? Apache Spark. Again, the company, it is Apache only given, this one. In-memory distributed data analytics. This also data analytics like Hadoop only. In memory. What is the compare with Hadoop? What is the advantage? That is, it is explained here. At each stage of a map reduce operation, the data is read and returned back to the disk, which means latency is introduced through each disk operation. While doing the map reduce it is there in the Hadoop. There, while doing each map reduce, it will read the data, it will process the data, it will write the data back. But here, how it is doing here? In Spark, the processing of the data is moved into high-speed memory. Here it is low-speed memory it is using. It is slow here. Here in Spark, if you are using, it is high-speed memory, which having a significantly lower latency. Here the latency, delay for taking the data, processing the data and return back. There is a delay, more delay is there, or latency is there. But here delay is less. Why? Here it is high-speed memory it is going to use here. That is the difference here. High-speed memory it is going to use. Here the real-time processing is done by a complement of Apache Spark project called as Spark Streaming. Real-time data. What is real-time data? What data it is generating, immediately that particular data is coming. That particular data while we do not want to store, before storing we can process or analyze the data with the help of Spark Streaming. Next one is Spark Streaming is the extension of Spark Core. From the Spark Core only Spark Streaming came. Spark Core only Spark Streaming came. This Spark Streaming I am explaining. That is responsible for live stream of data. The data it is coming, before storing it is going to process. Micro batches are called discrete stream because it is for D stream. Discrete stream is one set of data it will go to given to one, and other set of data is going to give to other one, because streaming of data continuously we cannot able to give to one Spark. First set of data will give, there it will process. Next set of data will give to other Spark. It is so on, because it like that it is going to get the result. And the next important thing is instant feedback capability in the Spark. Immediately feedback also it's going to get. Next one advantage is control, safety, security of personnel, time sensitive process. These are the other advantages compared with the Hadoop. Control, safety is there, security is more. That are the advantage. Next one is Apache Storm and Apache Flink. As you work with Hadoop ecosystem, you will inevitably notice that different projects are very similar. Yes, most of the projects are very similar only, or most of the software are very similar, but small differences will be there. That we have to highlight here. That's it. You see here, for example, Apache Spark, what we discussed previously, is often used for both distributed streaming analytics as well as batch processing analytics. That means distributedly data it is stored and live data it is coming. Streaming analytics, live streaming of data also can be processed. Previously we discussed there. And batch processing. What is batch processing? All the requests will come, it will store one place, then it is processing. Both can be do with using Apache Spark, and the same thing only it is doing by Storm also, or Apache Flink. What is the difference here? That we will discuss here. Apache Storm and Flink, Apache Flink, both are from Apache only company, and other Hadoop ecosystem project designed for distributed, same, and same distributed stream processing only, and are commonly deployed for IoT also, both. The difference it is coming here. Storm can pull the data. Apache Storm will pull the data from Kafka. Kafka is a brokering system. From there, the data is going to pull. And near real-time fashion, that is very important. That near real-time fashion, the execution is going to happen with the help of Apache Flink. The near real-time fashion, that is very important. It's wherever the data is coming near to that one, real-time fashion, immediately it is going to executed by the Apache Flink. That is a property of the Apache Flink. Yes, it is rapidly evolving, and projects will continue to gain and lose popularity as they evolve. Definitely. Later, this Flink also will go. Why? New modern or new software is going to come. At that time, the old one is going to isolate it. and people may not going to use. That is why those who are working in Hadoop, that is one of the major problem for them. They have to be updated the packages which is coming, because whatever the things it is using today, maybe after few months it may not be there, and new packages is going to add, or new software it is going to add. Next we will see about Lambda architecture. Ultimately the key element of the data infrastructure to support ultimately aim is IoT network. We have to collect the data, process the data, storage of the data. Different things are there. One of the other thing is Lambda architecture. Querying both the data in motion streaming and data at rest batch processing requires a combination of Hadoop ecosystem project. Definitely. Live stream of data processing, live data processing, as well as storage of data processing, data at rest with the help of batch processing. There rested data only batch processing. Live streaming of data, it is data in motion, right? Both we can use in Lambda architecture, and previous other architecture also is possible. One architecture it is currently being leveraged strong for the functionality is Lambda architecture. It is one of the strongest one. Like previous one, compared with that one, this is more stronger. Lambda is a data management system that consists of two layers. One is injecting data, batch and stream, and one layer providing combined data servicing. I will show and explain the diagram so that you will understand. This is the diagram, right? Again, Kafka only taking the data from smart object or from IoT network. It is brokering system. Already you know the Kafka diagram. That one you have to keep in your mind, that broker is there. From the broker it is going to give to straw, that diagram. Again, that one it is not shown. Using an arrow they are shown everything. The data it is coming from the Kafka, it is going to Spark, Storm or Flink. It is streaming layer. Streaming means live stream of data. Data is not storing, live streaming of data we are going to analyze. After going to analyze, we can display the data, because what is that particular data, pressure data, how it is coming, temperature data is increased or not. That we have to live stream of data, we have to show to the public with the help of real-time views. Views means it is showing to the public. Some software packages will be there. Otherwise, from Kafka, it can take the data from Hadoop distributed file system, or the Hadoop distributed file system is for storage of data, and the processing of data which is helping for MapReduce. That means it is nothing but in the streaming layer, live stream of data is going to process. In the batch layer, stored data is going to process. Both are different. Here, upcoming data, it is not stored. Before that, it is processing. Here, it is already stored data, it is processing. With the help of HDFS and MapReduce. And that particular data also, we can show the result. What was happened some months back, or what was happened some days back. What was happened, now it is afternoon, what was happened on morning. These are storage data. Then later you can go with a comparison, live stream of data as well as the previous data. That one we can show using a merged view, so that clearly we'll understand that previously what has happened, live what is happening. I hope it is clear with this one about the Lambda architecture, right? Each layer it is explaining. Please go on through this one. You will clearly understand about each layer. And next video, I will explain about edge streaming analytics. Edge streaming analytics is also a very important topic. That is the last topic in the first chapter.